USA Ultimate presents the 2015 U.S. Open Championships. We're at Lakota West High School, Westchester, Ohio. Happy 4th of July. It's the men's semifinal round, game number 1, as Washington Truck Stop gets set to take on Revolver from San Francisco. A look at the remaining 4. No disappointments here. The top 2 powerhouses have advanced. Everybody was anticipating Johnny Bravo and Revolver both competing in the semifinals today. And with that, welcome Sean Kinney alongside the voice of Ultimate, Evan Lepler. And Evan, we look at this game. You have Revolver, the traditional power, and this Truck Stop program, who is hoping maybe this is the first leg of the changing of the guards, if you will.
Sean, both of these teams have something to prove today. For Revolver, they still have the lingering pain of last year's Nationals quarterfinal loss to GOAT, who they could perhaps see in the finals if GOAT can win later tonight. For Truck Stop, they are the up-and-coming team. A lot of new additions, perhaps the best offseason in the men's field, and a lot of players with experience competing at the high level. A guy like Nate Castine, Seattle Sockeye veteran, Peter Pryal, who's been to semifinals so many times with Boston. Washington, D.C. could be the team to take the jump. And Peter Pryal warming up in an Ironside jersey, but he doesn't play for them anymore. He's a law student in Washington, D.C., and that relocation for him has paid huge dividends for the DC Ultimate program because he's a deep threat, and he's brought just a level of confidence and experience in big games that they might have lacked before.
And on the opposite sideline, Revolver is loaded with talent. Bo Kittredge, obviously one of the greatest players in the world, but he has a pretty good supporting cast as well.
The reason Bo is so good and so effective is because he's surrounded by some of the other best talent in the world. Perhaps 7 of Revolver's players are among the top 25 players in the world. Cassidy Rasmussen's had a great weekend. Ashland Joy is usually the primary O-line handler, but he's been under the weather. Cassidy has filled in, and they haven't missed a beat.
Revolver is the 2-time defending champion of this tournament. Will they make it 3 in a row? Truck Stop trying to make a statement. We'll have the opening poll coming up next from Westchester. The 2015 U.S. Open Ultimate Championships are presented by Discraft Ultrastar, the official disc of USA Ultimate. Ask your retailer for Discraft Ultrastar. The Triple Crown Tour, the sport of Ultimate's premier competitive experience, and by USA Ultimate, the national governing body for the sport of Ultimate in the United States. For more information or to find out where to play Ultimate in your area, visit usaultimate.org. Revolver and Truck Stop, the first of 2 semifinals, part of the 2015 U.S. Open. Let's meet the starters for Truck Stop. Pryal gets a lot of attention as one of the main cutters. Seth Wiggins has had a good tournament. The handler core is certainly powered by Nikki Spiva. Alan Kolik having a good tournament as well. On the opposite side for San Francisco and Revolver, Bo Kittredge. He enters with 10 goals, 7 assists so far in the first 2 days. He's one of the stars, one of many stars on this squad. Chris Kasednar having a solid tournament as well, one of the main handlers. They just come at you line after line with talent. And that's who they will send out to start here as we are ready to go. The opening poll in the first semifinal here at the U.S. Open. It will be Truck Stop in the white with the first possession.
And if you're a little confused, wondering who's the team in the blue, that is Revolver. They've changed their color this year for the first time in a long time. So used to seeing them in red, but they have changed it up. Not great defense in the first possession. That was fast.
A quick strike and score as Peter Pryal, one of our highlighted players, immediately pays an early dividend.
Talked with Revolver coach Mike Payne before the action, asked him about keys to the game, and he said, you know, we just have to do it on D. You know, our O will do its thing. We have to force them to make more throws and not let them strike quickly. Well, mission not accomplished on the first point. Defense really never got set at all, and an impressive first point for the O-line with Pryal and Kolik doing their thing. And we talked about Castine and Pryal before the game. Just as big of an addition this year, probably Nikki Spiva. You know, former captain of Atlanta Chain Lightning, a member of the U.S. World Games team that went to Cali, Colombia and won gold in 2013. And just a very accomplished all-around player now in D.C.
For the past couple of days for Truck Stop, it really was kind of a Jekyll and Hyde. They played Johnny Bravo tough, 14-12. They lost. They went 3-2 in pool play. Lost to Furious George 14-12, but then they posted a double-digit win against the German national team. They beat Pony in the final pool match 15-6.
They really should have beaten Bravo. I was watching that game intently. Truck Stop had a 12-10 lead, and then Bravo ran off 4 in a row to win it 14-12. There's the first touch for Bo.
Kittredge out there along with Rasmussen.
And how about Ashland Joy? This is his first point of the tournament. He didn't play at all the last 2 days.
He's been very, very ill, food poisoning.
Yeah. And he hasn't been able to keep really any food down. Feeling miserably at the hospital. And well, there's scary news downfield to the left of our screen. Well, there's Simon Higgins.
We hate to see that for Revolver.
He is potentially, you know, one of the 5 best players in the world as he gets older. I mean, he's just 22 years old right now. He's on the U23 team, the mixed team that's headed to London. Hopefully that's just a tweak and he'll feel all right soon.
Kosednar, mark coming from Eric Miner. It's along the far sideline. Revolver with their first possession, trying to counter the quick score by Truck Stop. Float toward the end zone and a one-hand snatch, and Cassidy Rasmussen scores.
Out of UC Santa Cruz, he has become such a great player as a super solid and often spectacular deep threat as well. It doesn't take Ashland Joy long to make an impact, does it? I mean, to be honest, I saw Ashland warming up down in the field and asked him how he was feeling. He said, "I've been better." I think I said to someone, I did not expect Ashland Joy to have a huge impact on this game. We'll see how many points he plays on offense. But Cassidy has really excelled in that handler role. You know, Revolver is a team that traditionally likes to play boring offense. They want to take the sure thing. They don't want to just huck it up to their talented guys. Except Ashland Joy sort of has the green light to do that. And in Ashland's role, Cassidy had the green light a bunch of times. Christian Johnson and Simon Higgins made him look so good.
See them working on Higgins. We'll keep an eye on that. Big development for Revolver, one of their key cogs, a second-year player, 6'4" star for Revolver, injuring an ankle. So they will work on him, and here comes Truck Stop with their second possession. Deep huck downfield on the backhand, streaking downfield wide open. Near the goal line, Jeff Wodach, one of the captains, and he will secure the score. Brian Marshall connects in the end zone. Marshall puts Truck Stop up 2-1. 2 possessions, 2 lightning quick scores.
Yeah, I mean, this one only took 4 throws, and that includes the centering pass to Kolick. He hit Trial, Trial hit Wodach, and then just one more shot into the end zone. And DC's offense right now, it's like they're in a practice.
This was an exciting year as they arrived in Westchester. A big year for Truck Stop, trying to move up the ladder. They made a ton of roster moves in the offseason. They have a spirited and talented young class, combined 5 world tournaments, a couple of USAU championships, club finals. They have a college national finalist, a Callahan runner-up. I mean, this is a team ready to make the next step up.
And if they can beat Revolver, statement will be made. I mean, Revolver is the benchmark for which all ultimate teams have been measured, and usually no one has measured up to the San Francisco's finest.
DC with a 2-1 lead.
Ashland Joy out there on offense for Revolver. Chris Kosednar, Bo Kittredge, Cassidy Rasmussen, Christian Johnson, Nathan White, and Joel Schlockett.
Eric Salmi with the pull for Truck Stop. Good deep pull into the end zone, and here comes Revolver. Kittredge on the far side. Comes back to the center to Kosednar.
Bet you Cassidy Rasmussen's really kind of had a hankering to cut. I mean, he's used to cutting. He's such a viable handler too, but he's been in the handler core most of the weekend.
Schlockett zips a pass up the front to Nathan White. White dumps it right back to Schlockett. Schlockett rotates it over to Ashlyn Joy. Joy flicks it up ahead. Revolver, good position here. Let's see what they can do with it with Rasmussen, who already has a goal, looking to add an assist, and he does. Christian Johnson, who has been a big-time producer so far in this tournament, his 8th goal.
We've talked a lot about DC's additions, but Christian Johnson, by the end of the season, might end up being the most significant roster addition from last year, and that's not something I would have expected. I've always thought Christian is a really solid player, but he has impressed me to a level this weekend in which I have not seen before. Not when he played for Ring of Fire in Raleigh, not with his time in college at Darkside. He has been flawless in his deep game. Guys have given him chances to make plays, and to be honest, I have not seen him fail to make a play yet.
See the numbers that he has put up. Played 3 years with Ring of Fire from 2011 2013, his first year with Revolver. UNC Darkside. And a 2-2 score. Both offenses looking pretty sparkly on this Independence Day right now.
Yeah, this has a feel of two really good offenses where breaks are going to be at a minimum, and Truck Stop knew that coming in. I asked David Cranston, the captain, what are the keys for you guys winning tonight? And he said our D just needs to slow them down a little bit, and our offense obviously needs to hold. He said if we can get 3 breaks, we should be able to win.
So 3's the magic number.
That's what he said.
Keep track of that as we move along. Alan Kolick with it.
Excited for people to get a chance to see Alan Kolick. He's really developed into one of the craftier handlers in the game. Sort of the he's kind of like the left-handed Brett Matsuka. I mean, he's slight of build, but he's got all the throws. He and Brett were teammates in Dubai on the gold medal winning Beach Worlds team. David Cranston on that squad as well, and there's a turnover. First of the game, Russell Wynn knocked it down.
Wynn picks up the D. Here comes Revolver on the attack.
The thing about Revolver is their defensive line has such great offensive players. When you're talking about Lucas Dahlman, Taylor Leahy, Eli Kearns, Marcelo Sanchez, who's been an O-line guy for a long time. Mike Payne was thrilled to get Marcelo on the D-line, and just like that, we have our first Revolver break.
Kearns with the hammer, finding Dahlman. And Revolver with the break, a 3-2 lead.
Lucas, a first-year captain for Revolver. I asked their veteran captain, Yokawa Oka, what's Lucas been like as a captain? This is just his 3rd year on the team. And he said he is the most fiery captain we've had in a long time. And you can see it right there, the emotion coming from Dahlman, who ran from one side of the field to the other, from the handler core, angling to the end zone. And there aren't many better throwers on D-lines in the world than Eli Kearns.
Perfect strike, finding Dahlman, so Frisco with a 3-2 lead. Lucas Dahlman.
I'm trying to think, Sean, of, who are the best throwers who have primarily played D-line? Maybe people can chime in on Twitter. I mean, Tim Garrett comes to mind, a former Callahan Award winner at Florida who played for teams all across the country, most recently Seattle Sockeye. Bo Kittredge,
be on that list.
Not a handler per se, even though he's developed his throws and has played pretty good defense at times. It's an interesting conversation. I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch.
Seth Wiggins in truck stop. Kolick swings it over to Cody Johnston. Johnston gets it up ahead to Pryel, who has an early goal. Nick Spiva, orchestrator of this offense. 2 solid days. Impressed with Spiva, the first-year player with truck stop out of Nashville, Tennessee.
We're set. Ready for a check.
Contested calls. The truck stop will check it back in with Wiggins along the far side. They're looking to get it to a cutting. Nothing there, so they had to dump it back off.
The big bid by Kevin Cox, one of the rare Revolver newcomers. And, well, second turnover for Truck. Revolver still has not turned it over yet in the game.
Spiva trying to hook up with Pryal, and they cough it up. So Revolver back on the offensive.
That's a big, about 30-yard under from Marcy to Canner.
Canner with the dive and the layout. Now he tosses it with the huck downfield toward the end zone, and it's dropped. Dropped by Gregory Cohen. And Truck Stop dodges a bullet.
Yeah, they really did. I don't know how they got out of the way of that bullet. I've never seen that happen with Greg Cohen before.
Back-to-back turnovers. Let's see if Truck Stop can kind of find the rhythm they had early to start this game.
That's the rare example of a throw that's not caught that was still amazing. Sam Canner's flick there to Cohen was perfect.
Wiggins to the center to Spiva. Spiva, the mark from Evangelides.
Stall count was rising. He had to launch it.
Ball up for grabs, and a couple of Truck Stop players go up with it, and they come down. Oh, how about the grab by Wodach?
And Greg Cohen was so close to a little defensive redemption, but Wodach denied it.
Wodach, one of the returning captains of Truck Stop. They've had a lot of personnel changes, but he's been the stabilizer in his 7th year watching this Washington, D.C. program grow.
Here's the drop from Cohen on just a picture-perfect throw from Canner. Cohen eventually will make amends. He had an opportunity to do it here. This was a desperation high stall count release. Pryal in the area, but it was Wodach who plucked it with a right paw. Wonder if Cohen got a piece of that disc right before Wodach did.
And now a blue card has been issued away from the action here. And they're going to go back to that throw, I believe, Evan. And
Excessive fouling on the mark.
Excessive fouling on the mark. TMF awarded to Revolver. Take that goal away.
How about that?
So it's 3-2. DC looking for the 3rd goal to tie it up here.
This is Wiggins with it. Gives it to a cutting Kolek. Kolek stops, flicks it wide open, and making the catch inbounds for the score. This one will stand, and it is Pryal, who was in the neighborhood of the last puck downfield. This time it was all him. It had his number written all over it.
I expect to see this type of efficiency from the DC offense. But the reality is, Revolver probably should be up 4-2 right now. You know, Truck Stop has not come close to forcing a turnover yet.
Looks like another card has been issued near the goal line. We'll try to break down and find out what happened after the score.
Pryal in law school at Georgetown. He's actually currently in Boston doing an internship. He'll be back for his final year of law school in a couple months. And the leadership and experience that he has brought. He's been a part of so many great teams. David Cranston told me that he's brought a certain swagger that they kind of needed. You know, a sort of arrogance. And that's Seth Wiggins too. I mean, Seth Wiggins brings that level of arrogance. He expects greatness. He tells guys what to do. He has a little attitude, but he's got the pedigree to have it.
He can back it up. Here's the pull. Revolver in a 3-3 tie with possession as they make their way upfield.
It's great to see Ashland Joy on the field. A little miscommunication. They only had one defender on the 2 handlers, Kassednar and Joy.
Deep
Here's
shot.
Bo.
Kittredge can't get to this one. And it's a turnover by Revolver. Truck Stop, a chance, get the break back. They come with it to Markham Schaffner. This is Matthew McDonald turning, surveying. Back to the center they go as they continue with the resets. Ben Fang. Hagan. Back up to Calvin Ong. New names in there right now on this trip. The second line in there for DC. Let's see what they can do. They get it toward the pylon, jumping across, hip-scopping his way in, and he's going to get the score. Nice footwork, nifty footwork by McDonald at the doorstep to give Truck Stop the lead.
Another first-year Truck guy, Matthew McDonald. Connecticut native, played with Boston Garuda in the past. Second tier but rising Boston club behind Ironside. I'm not sure about that goal. He may have had possession right there when his foot was still on the ground. But nevertheless, Truck Stop has taken a lead. Its first break. So there's the first break that Truck Stop was looking for. We're back on serve.
McDonald, a first-year player, getting his second goal of the tournament.
And the turnover coming on Ashland Joy's deep shot, looking for Bo Kittredge. Usually a reliable combination. Those two are former roommates, great friends, longtime teammates. Nick Schlag is out there in the offensive line this time. Johnson, Kasednar, Kittredge, Rasmussen, along with Nathan White and Joel Schlockett. You know, one of the things that's made this Revolver O-line so tough is having a guy like Simon Higgins to stretch the field as well. He is still on the sideline after he appeared to tweak his ankle on the opening point.
They attack it down the center of the seam, looking for Kittredge again. This time it's right on money, and he'll haul it in for the score.
It's a golden throw from Cassidy Rasmussen. And the thing about Bo Kittredge, he just turned 33 in June. He still covers territory so quickly, but it doesn't look like he's even running that hard. I mean, Delrico Johnston sort of gave up on that play. Bo make the in cut. You saw Delrico slip, and it was over. Gorgeous float on the throw, and he milked it well into the end zone. Second assist for Rasmussen. Bo from Fairbanks, Alaska. He was born in a tiny town in the middle of nowhere, one of the northernmost points of Alaska. His father, a guy who drove small planes, those little bush planes, into tiny villages. Spent most of his life in Fairbanks, then moved to Boulder, Colorado, where he joined Mama Bird, and that was where he became a star. Of course, he jumped over the guy. And his list of highlights and accolades, too vast to mention.
No matter the level, he's always had success.
And just the way he continues to train and hone his body. And he won't talk about his training regimen all that often. It's kind of his secret, except to the guys that train with him, and they learn exactly what it's like to be the best.
Truck Stop 4-4 with Revolver in this first half. Semifinal winner moves into the championship tomorrow. Here's a beautiful layout on the D for Revolver, and they will get possession right back at it. That's Eli Kearns giving up the body. Zone possession, Kearns, soft flip, Dolman hauls it in. So it was all Kearns with the D to set it up. He gets the assist. Dolman finds the end zone for the second time.
Kolick telegraphed that just a little bit. Kearns was all in. And the thing that DC is going to have trouble with is playing defense when their O-line is out there against the Revolver D-line. I mean, Kearns and Dolman, that was too easy. The basic isolation in the end zone. Kearns now on the D-line has 2 assists, another break for Revolver. He's going to stay out there, looking to pile it on.
Kearns, part of the UC Davis Dogs. He has already built an impressive resume despite just the age of 23.
I asked Kevin Cisna, Fury coach, last night, who's the best player you've ever coached? And he said Eli Kearns. And he's coached a lot of really good players.
I was just say that's quite a statement there. A testament to what this young man has accomplished. He's already won the under-19 Worlds. He led the Davis Dogs to, at the time, just their second national appearance in school history. And his D and his assist has given San Francisco the break and the lead again at 5-4. High arcing pull. Truck stop.
Zone defense from Revolver.
First look at this zone. Let's see how truck stop handles it.
Mike Payne and Yokawa Oka have spent a lot of time plotting, planning, thinking about different defenses they can run. In the past, they've kind of thought we can just use our superior athletes to beat teams man-to-man. And while I still think that's true, they're throwing some curveballs instead of just overpowering with a 102-mile-per-hour heat.
Wiggins and Johnston working to give and go nicely as they beat the zone. Working onto the Revolver side. Good disc movement here. Nobody hanging on to it too long.
When you play a good zone defense, the number one thing is it really tests the offense's patience, especially in a day like this. Truck stop should be able to score. It's not that windy.
Spiva looking toward the back corner of the end zone, and he puts it right on the money. Wodach with a second goal.
That throw was about 20 seconds in the making, with Spiva surveying downfield, moving the deep, both with his eyes and the swinging of the disc. And eventually Spiva decided to pull the trigger. He had a lane around the monster middle in that cup, and Wodach had plenty of room in the end zone. By showing the zone there, it will force truck stop to think about it. And the next time their offense is on there, they'll be wondering, are they going to come man? Are they going to come zone? That just gives the other team much more to talk about, think about.
Look at Jeff Wodach in his 7th year, the 28-year-old out of Wallingford, Connecticut. One of the returning captains for this truck stop team. 5-5 in the first half. Evan, anything surprising you so far early on between these two?
Ashland Joy, looking as good as he has, really surprised me after the stories I've heard about his past couple of days. They have not been pleasant.
He's hardly had an ounce of food since he became ill late Thursday night upon arrival. Thursday, I should say. 5-5 our score as the pole goes out of bounds.
He's still out there, though, and interestingly, Joy is going into the horizontal stack with Schlockett, Kittredge, and Johnson. Rasmussen picking up. Schlag and Kassednar, the three handlers.
One name that is still missing is Simon Higgins, who left this game in the opening 2 minutes with what appeared to be a lower body injury, an ankle injury possible.
On the one hand, Ashland has very fresh legs, and he's an excellent cutter. On the other, it's not his normal role.
We're going to put Bobby Gordon shadowing Joy. Work it to Kittredge. She'll fire downfield. 50-50 disc up in the air. It sails out of bounds. Mentioned that wind, really not all of a factor here. It has kind of turned around on us since we started with the mixed semis earlier this afternoon, but still less than 10 miles per hour here in Westchester.
Not Kittredge's finest throw there. All three Revolver turnovers so far have come on deep shots. As a great layout grab there to keep possession alive by truck stop.
Greg Selmy pushes it over to Fang. Fang leaves it up ahead. Another diving catch from the layout.
This is an opportunity, Sean, for Truck's second D-line break. And as we said, David Cranston expected 3 breaks could win the game.
Downfield action looking for Gordon, and he'll make the catch for the score. No, excuse me, knocked away, incomplete. Getting a piece of it at the last second was Ashland Joy.
And Joy read that well.
5-5. Missed opportunity. Here's a deep huck. Downfield. Johnson goes up, but it's caught by Schlockett. Looked like it was all Johnson, then Schlockett popped in the picture. Here's a familiar layout as Kittredge goes diving and a Revolver score.
Wow, what a sequence. Looked like a decent throw in the air. The defender, Boylan Colchin, was closing in. He forced Johnson to go up early, and Schlockett just recognized that either Johnson was going to make the play or the disc was going to come right to him. Schlockett's one of the more underrated players in the country. We talked about him a lot last year at this tournament. He's just crafty and intelligent. And so super solid, has been for a very long time.
Twelfth goal this weekend for Kittredge.
Yeah, it's a little strange seeing him in the blue.
It is, isn't it?
The mama bird, yellow, back in the day. Christian Johnson's been in the ring black and orange and the dark side black, now in the Revolver blue. I suggested to them that they go the Tiger Woods style and return to their reds on Sunday. And Mike Payne seemed open to the idea, but I'm not sure they brought their red jerseys, so I don't think it'll happen this weekend.
Might see it in the next leg, possibly down the road at Nationals.
Offsides was called here. First offsides ruling against Revolver.
Jeffrey and Hagan, two of the defensive unit players for Revolver, now working with the 1-point lead. Jordan Jeffrey, Arkansas native, will have the pole here.
Jeffrey.
Good look at Mike Payne. Good deep pull. Truck stop, Cody Johnston. Gets it back up front to Johnston again, and we have a call away from the action. I think a pick called. Should say Jeffrey from Alaska, not Arkansas.
Yeah, he's one of 3 Alaska natives on Revolver, along with Kasednar and Kittredge, of course. Jeffrey from another one of the northernmost points, Barrow, Alaska. His father was a judge in Barrow, the judge in Barrow. Started playing Ultimate at a summer camp in Minnesota. And then at Stanford.
Opportunity for truck stop and a nice one-hand snatch by Kolek. Kolek dumps it back over to Jonathan Neely. Neely with a backhand, corralled by Tom Doy. Doy rotates it over to Spiva, who's been active as expected. Now room to work for Kolek. He has all sorts of room to pick and choose. Now they'll move the mark a little bit closer. And a stoppage with a pick downfield.
And Nicky Spiva is the type of guy who has the capability to take over the game.
Kolek has this pass deflected away. Nicely done by Revolver.
Second time in this first half that Kolek has tried to force one in there. Kearns got a D, and now it's Bayless with a D.
Jeffrey up ahead to Kevin Cox, defensive specialist. He swings it over to Canner. Canner thought about going deep. Instead, settles patiently on the far side to Andrew Hagan. Up ahead to go to Dahlman. Dahlman on the give and go action, right back to Jordan Marcy. Marcy zips it ahead to Canner. With this approach by Revolver, textbook, how they can change the field on you real quickly. Swing it over to Andrew Hagan. Hagan marked on the play by Pryl. And I believe a contact called here as Bayless will call it out. This will be uncontested, I'm sure, so they will restart it. Chance for Revolver, already leading by 1 to go up and get that break, grab that 2-point advantage. Timeout taken. San Francisco using the timeout, so Revolver using the first of their 2 timeouts. Mentioned this powerhouse for head coach Mike Payne. 2 U.S. Open titles. They beat Ironside back in 2013 at this tournament in Raleigh, 16-15. Last year they had the 2-point win against Johnny Bravo, 2-time defending world champions.
I think Mike Payne takes his coaching responsibilities as seriously as anybody. And now he's part of a coaching power couple. His wife, Sam Salvia, played for Fury for a long time. They've had kids, and she's taken care of the kids many times while letting him coach. But now she's returning to the field to help out Fury, and great story. 2 ultimate stars. Back in the day, they finally decided they were going to get married in Costa Rica when they were throwing a disc on the beach. At the time, they were both disc testers with new models, and he had a plan. He had taped the ring in the box to the bottom of the disc, had it in his bag. They were throwing 1 disc. He said, okay, we have to test this one now. He pulls this other one out of his bag, flips it to her. It obviously wobbled a little bit, and the ring was underneath. What a way to propose, huh?
Probably the best catch she ever made in her career. There's a zip toward the goal line and a score. Sam Canner able to haul it in for Revolver, and they go up by 2, 7-5. Canner, the Amherst, Massachusetts product, East Coast guy, discovered the sport at a very young age. He gets the end zone here.
Another Tina Booth disciple. Revolver's offense, the perfect combination of patience and quick strike. I mean, you said it before the timeout when they just marched down 55 yards of the field like it was nothing after the turnover in the end zone. And they never seemed to be in a hurry, but it always felt like they could score at any throw. That's their 3rd break of the first half.
Lucas Dahlman having a big first half for Coach Mike Payne and this Revolver program, up by 2, 7-5. And they're doing it without Simon Higgins.
Well, through the first 2 days of this tournament, Sean, they went undefeated without arguably their 2 best throwers. Robbie Cahill, not here. Ashlyn Joy, here but under the weather. The depth, that's probably the most amazing thing about this entire tournament for me. That they could lose Ashlyn Joy and Robbie Cahill and not miss a beat. I mean, they look like the best team without 2 of the 25 best players in the world.
Incredible depth on the West Coast with this San Francisco squad. Backhand hammer flip there as they get it up ahead to Jeff Wodach. Truck stop trying to counter quickly. Ryan Marshall. Marshall looks. There's a cut up ahead. Kolek. Kolek stops. Delivers a soft toss into the end zone for the score. Peter Pryal again finding the end zone. Key player. You look at Pryal, one of those guys who's big and quick in small spaces. A lot of credit to Josh McCarthy as one of his main motivators and influences in the sport of ultimate. They have a lot of success in the 2nd year with Truck Stop.
Kolek, a couple turnovers on previous points. He's a lefty, and he goes for the righty backhand to the end zone. They make such a big deal about right-handed throwers utilizing that lefty backhand. There's a little dose to the opposite. Pryal always reliable in the end zone.
Now you look at a team like Truck Stop and what they've done, Evan. What do you think it's going to take for them really, truly to take that next leap into the elite status, such as Johnny Bravo and what we're seeing with Revolver?
That's the million-dollar question. And if there was an easy answer to it, it would be much easier to win. I think a lot of it is about building a culture and, you know, coming together as a team. I mean, I think that's what San Francisco Revolver has done, what Seattle Sockeye has done. You know, Johnny Bravo's a little different. Last year they created much more of an all-star team, bringing in Kirk Gibson, Brody Smith, Sean Keegan moved to Denver, but a first-year guy, Brett Matsuka, Ian Toner. You know, obviously the emergence of Jimmy Mickle, the Revolver mainstays like Jesse Ream and Ryan Farrell, Matty Farrell. Here's Kittredge going deep, former Bravo.
Fucking star power, and it's right on cue. Perfectly led pass, a strike there to Kittredge. They can beat you so many different ways, and Revolver goes into the halftime break leading 8-6. You see the assist there, Kasednar. Perfectly led disc as they hit it to Bo Kittredge. So a strike, and Revolver goes into the intermission with a little bit of momentum, and their star player playing well in the first half.
The Alaska connection. Kasednar to Kittredge. And Bo still has the breakaway speed. It's a solid half for Revolver. I think Truck Stop probably saying like, hey, we're down 8-6. We're right there. Now Revolver's going to receive to start the second half. If they hold and they go up by 3. But, you know, could have been worse. San Francisco's couple turnovers, you know, Bo's flick intended for Christian Johnson that went out of bounds. One Ashlyn Joy Huck intended for Bo, that was too far. San Francisco has basically played an A- first half. Truck Stop probably about a B, maybe B-.
And you need to be in an A or A- to beat this Revolver team. Well, Kittredge with a big first half. You look at Revolver so far in this tournament, they were the only unbeaten men's team after pool play. A 1-point win against Ironside. They hammered Team Columbia. Took care of Goat 15-8. Ironically, Goat, the other semifinalist later tonight, playing Johnny Bravo, beat a good Great Britain team 15-10, and then they finished up pool play late yesterday with a 5-point win against Temper. So an 8-6 lead for Revolver. We're going to check in with the Truck Stop camp in just a moment. Again, you mentioned the Truck Stop started fast and furious. They looked good on their first 2 possessions. A couple of turnovers that Revolver made them pay, and now they're going to have to figure out a way to slow down this Revolver offense. And let's go down to the field. Jonathan Neely joins us, the 5th-year player for Truck Stop. And Jonathan, a 2-point deficit here at the intermission. Looking back at the first half, what are you guys going to think about your performance so far here in the semifinal?
We just need to tighten up a little bit. We've had the disc on the goal line a couple times and turned it over, mostly unforced. So learning to tighten those screws when we need to.
John, what were the expectations for your team coming into the season in the U.S. Open in particular?
Coming into this tournament, we just want to learn to play together and learn what works as a leadership group and the whole team. We have a lot of new pieces, and putting those together is a process. And so we're looking to gather information and keep, fix, try what we find out.
What's the mindset in trying to slow down Revolver's offense?
Well, they got some big cutters downfield and some guys who can put it to them and also get open for those resets. So the first and foremost thing is that you got to work. And beyond that, we got a couple different looks, looking to just force them to their second and third options, knowing, you know, what's automatic for them. And if we can get them to throw some extra throws, we count that as a win and go from there.
Jonathan, good luck in the second half.
Thanks a lot.
Jonathan Neely with Truck Stop. They're in this with Revolver. They trail 8-6 at the intermission. San Francisco looking for their 3rd consecutive title at this U.S. Open Championship. Back with you from Westchester, Ohio. Halftime here in the men's semifinal, and it is Revolver out to an 8-6 lead at the intermission. Mike Payne is the head coach with Revolver. He joins us. And Mike, any surprises in the first half? You satisfied with where your team's sitting right now?
I'm actually pretty satisfied. Yeah, I knew that this was going to be a battle. These guys are very athletic. They picked up some stars from other teams, and so it was going to be an athletic battle. I think we had one mistake on offense that we paid for, but other than that, we've been doing a good job of using our legs to wear them down and different defenses to keep them guessing.
Mike, how's Simon Higgins doing?
Oh, Simon is a pleasure to coach. He's been playing a lot of Ultimate, so I hope his body holds up, but he's really coming into his own as a receiver. He's very economical with how he plays. He makes very few mistakes, especially for somebody his age, and he provides a distraction away from our other big names. So it's been a pleasure having him become a big part of the Revolver offense.
I agree with you. Do you think we'll see him in the second half?
I think we will see him in the second half, yeah. We're making sure that we give everybody plenty of playing time. We've had Ashlyn Joy out for the last 2 days with an illness, and he's come back for the first time in this game, so we're giving him playing time. And then you see Nathan White, one of our third-year players, who also is coming into his own, and we're giving him turns downfield as a cutter. So Simon's just biding his time.
Is Ashlyn feeling all right?
Ashton's feeling all right. He had a bit of food poisoning, which nobody likes, but he's perhaps a little bit weak, but he's actually playing a lot more and a lot better than we thought he was. So he's one of the best players in the game, so why not let him contribute?
Mike, good luck in the second half.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
I think Coach Mike Payne's going to be satisfied a lot this year with his Revolver team. He leads by 2, Revolver 8, Truck Stop 6 at the intermission. Semifinals of the 2015 U.S. Open. And welcome back to Westchester, Ohio. 8-6 Revolver on top of Truck Stop here at the intermission in the semifinal. The winner to play for the championship tomorrow late afternoon here in Cincinnati. Great to have you with us on this 4th of July weekend. Sean Kinney alongside Evan Lepler. And you go back to the first half, and both these teams show the ability to move the disc quickly. Truck Stop was up for the challenge their first couple of possessions.
This was the second offensive point of the game for Truck Stop. Actually, this was the first. It was very similar to the second when they worked it down the field in 4 throws. This one took about 7. Offensive efficiency was the story early, and Revolver's defense didn't do anything. Here's the second point. Cryle, one deep throw to Wodach, and then one throw later. Truck Stop was in the end zone, but Revolver's defense too good to keep letting DC score this easy. And here's the D-line after forcing a turnover. Eli Kearns, one of the top throwers for any D-line player in the country, drops in the hammer to Lucas Dahlman. That was the game's first break, and that gave Revolver some momentum. Delrico Johnson slipped when Kittredge went under, and it didn't take much for Bo to break away free to the end zone. Doesn't feel like Bo had a dominant half, but statistically he was in the end zone often. And there's Joel Schlockett doing what he does, filling in the gaps when Revolver might have made a little bit of mistake. Schlockett makes amends, and there's Kittredge in the end zone yet again. Offensively, this Revolver team has set the standard. Kasednar to who else?
See the numbers put up by Kittredge in the first half. 3 goals. Dahlman added a couple of tallies. Rasmussen and Kearns each with a couple of assists apiece. Good first half of the Truck Stop, in particular Peter Cryle. He continues his hot play, entered with 2 goals and 9 assists. He scored 3 in that first half, a couple of assists from Alan Kolick as well. 8-6 Revolver on top. We'll be back with second half action from Westchester. Good look at Bo Kittredge. 3 first half goals powering Revolver to a 2-point lead. 8-6 San Francisco on top as we get set to start the second half. Some instructions being passed along from teammate Nick Schlag. Schlag, one of the more underrated players, and there is Simon Higgins, who looks healthy, which is a good sign. Higgins left the game in the opening 2 minutes with what appeared to be an ankle injury. He did not return to the lineup in the first half. Mike Payne gave no indication of his status during the halftime interview, but he is out there on the sideline, not on the field, but on the sideline. And we'll be anxious to see if he is given the green light to check back in as we start the second half with the opening poll from Truck Stop. 8-6 Revolver on top by 2. Schlag gets it to the center to Ashlyn Joy. Good first half by Joy, coming into this semifinal without any game action due to food poisoning the first couple of days of this tournament. Kittredge turns and faces. Tight mark on the play coming from Matthew McDonald. A fling toward the end zone, and it will be an easy score for Revolver. Joel Schlockett, the recipient. Schlockett hauls it in. San Diego, California, the Spirit Award nominee for Revolver. Just that type of personality on this team.
Solid hold for Revolver out of the gates here in the second half. Just smooth undercutting. It was interesting what Jonathan Neely, the truck stop captain, said. You know, if we can just make them throw more throws, take more time to get in the end zone, it's a success. He didn't even talk about getting D's.
No, he did not.
Talk about trying to make it a little more difficult. I mean, this was more difficult than a 3-throw possession, but I don't think Revolver feels that was a grueling trip down the field by any means.
One of the unsung heroes, Joel Slockett, constantly rates high on those defensive matrix. College coach actually at UC Berkeley kind of pushed him to try out for Revolver. That was a good decision.
Yes, it was.
Nathan White picking up the assist. What maybe went overlooked in that last score was the catch White made from Kittredge. It was kind of offline. He made a nice mid-air adjustment to haul it in.
About a year ago, I asked Bo, what does it take for a young player to earn your respect? How does a guy earn your confidence? And he said he needs to be able to make hard plays look easy. That's the type of play that Nathan White just made.
First possession in the second half for Truck Stop, now looking at their largest deficit, down 3. See what adjustments they make, and it's not a good start as they turn it over. Pass too far out in front of Spiva. So Revolver in a position really to deal a crippling blow. And they're going for the home run immediately, but nobody home downfield. So Revolver coughs it right back out.
Jordan Jeffrey, Sar Marcelo Sanchez start to move deep. Here's Kolick launching the other way.
Deep huck. Disc hanging up perfectly and right on target for the score. Spiva chases it down, and Truck Stop on the board.
That's a hold for Truck Stop. 2 turnovers, 1 per side on that point. Not at all surprised to see Alan Kolick do this. He's got that throw every day. Tons of open space on that side of the field for him to work, and not the finest point of Jordan Jeffrey's career. He threw the turnover and then he got beat deep by Spiva.
A connection of Kolick and Spiva providing quite a punch for Truck Stop over the past 3 days and trying to keep them in it in this semifinal.
I mean, the question for Truck Stop down the stretch here, can their D-line generate any turnovers? I mean, Revolver has turned it over 4 times in the game, but none of them are a byproduct of Truck D's. I mean, Truck is literally looking for its first D of the game. And this is the 17th point right here.
Is that more a testament to the efficiency of the offense of Revolver, would you suggest?
I think it is. I'm not sure what you can do if your Truck Stop differently. Be a little bit more aggressive on the mark, try to shut down their handlers. But Revolver's clicking on all cylinders right now. See if it continues.
Alvin Ong with the pull, Revolver. Casedno. Backhand up ahead, making the catch, Christian Johnson. Shoot a backhand by sliding grab, controlled by White. White being forced to the backhand, they're able to swing it across. Casednar looked left, still looking that direction. Has the dump if it's available.
And Truck Stop has done a better job this possession, making things more difficult. Now, whether that leads to a turnover still remains to be seen.
Sean Childers really working hard defensively this trip downfield for Truck Stop. See the reset of attack, barking out instructions as Revolver gets into the red zone with White. Low throw dug out front of the end zone for the score. Hauling it in that time was Cassidy Rasmussen, who started off today's festivities for Revolver, and a 10-7 counterpunch by San Francisco.
I mean, Sean Childers has to be pleased in that Revolver was really forced to work for this score. Nathan White eventually saw that opening and a little air bounce backhand hovering near the ground, hauled in by Rasmussen.
Another productive day for one of our highlight players coming into this game. Cassidy Rasmussen, we talked about the star power with Bo Kittredge and some of the best players, not just in the country, in the world on this Revolver team. And Rasmussen and some of those other guys producing. Nathan White with his second assist. You pick your poison when you play Revolver. So many different ways that they can connect and hook up and score.
How about this for a stat? Revolver now 8 for 8 in the red zone. 7 of their offensive points have been devoid of turnovers.
And we're still early in the season. How scary is that?
And they're missing Robbie Cahill and Simon Higgins.
Truck stop down 3. Bobby Gordon deep downfield. He's looking for Doy. Tom Doy trying to chase it down, has room, and he'll make the catch. Doy doesn't say a lot. He's one of the quieter guys on the team, but that time he used his speed on a perfectly led pass.
And it's Pryle who picks up another assist. No hesitation. He had Russell Wynn deep, and the trail side poach defender Alex Evangelides could not get there in time. That's a good sign for DC. Now, if they stay within 2 or 3, they're within striking distance. The theory goes eventually Revolver has to make a mistake, right? I mean, if Revolver continues to do what they're doing offensively, they're basically the Golden State Warriors on a day when Steph and Clay aren't missing. I mean, and how do you beat them if they're not missing?
You don't.
Exactly. Now, there are a lot of Warriors fans on the Revolver squad. They're pretty pumped at the Splash Brothers celebration.
A pretty good season in the Bay Area. 10-8 San Francisco with the lead. Again, Truck Stop desperately looking for a break opportunity. How can they force turnover here? See them picking out, talking strategy, how they want to handle this defensive approach. Nate Castine, who we haven't mentioned a lot. Castine will have the pull. He was one of the big defensive guns, hoping to provide a shot in the arm for this Truck Stop program this year defensively. Seattle Sockeye staple for many years. Revolver back at work, working against the man-to-man D. They send it downfield, and a diving grab. Simon Higgins has made a return to the lineup.
It's the second point of the game, first since Revolver's first O point in the first half.
It's all for naught, though. I believe it's going to come back. A call made, some contact with the throw. So good to see Higgins back out there.
Are you guys going to stay fast count, stall coming in on 9?
It's a contested stall.
Okay. It would be coming in on 8 because it's going to be a contest. So coming in on, sorry, it's stalling 9. Coming in, stalling. How many numbers am I holding on? There you go, stalling 9. Say stalling 9.
The observer with the explanation, a quick release force with the stalling 9 start. Kittredge and Revolver, home run ball looking for Simon Higgins, up in the air. Higgins goes up and takes it. I think that ankle's feeling pretty good.
The Revolver sidelines love that. This is why this kid has probably the highest ceiling of any of the young guns in the sport today. That's Nate Castine guarding him, one of the top defenders who you just mentioned. And the young fella elevates Higgins to the summit. Christian Johnson will get credit for the assist, and he has Simon Higgins to thank.
Higgins started playing Ultimate in 2007. He was part of 4 Alameda State titles in California, played a couple of years with Polar Bears, was captain at Las Positas, and has found a home here with Revolver in his second year at the ripe age of 22. The future's so bright for the young athlete, Simon Higgins.
Yeah, I was chatting with Yo Kawaoka the other day, and you know, guys like Higgins and Cohen, who just joined the team last year, Lucas Dahlman joined the team 2 years ago. the young blood that Revolver has infused into their system. There's Cohen and Higgins right there. In year 2, both those guys are becoming much more vocal, bringing much more leadership, and just, I mean, the confidence. Now, those guys didn't play like rookies last year, but there were some nerves at Nationals. I mean, it was the first trip ever for those guys in the open division at Club Nationals.
Truck Stop back in familiar territory. They just can't get out of this 3-point deficit right now, 11-8. Every time it looks like maybe they're generating some type of momentum, some type of rhythm, Revolver counters. There's a breakdown defensively, sailing all by as lonesome as Pryal for another score. An easy strike there for Truck Stop.
I want to see the replay here to see exactly how this defense possession totally broke down for Revolver. Peter Pryal downfield just somehow got completely free. Like they were guarding him under, not anticipating that deep shot. Pryal's 4th goal of the game, and it was Jordan Marcy. Not sure if he had Pryal the whole point or there was a switch and perhaps a miscommunication on a switch. DC made him pay.
5-point day for Pryal, who entered this semifinal with 11 points in the first 5 games, mainly on the assist side. He had 9 helpers to 2 goals, but today he's been the recipient. Trying to keep Truck Stop within striking distance as he pulls them to within 2.
This DC team really probably peaked in 2010 when they took 5th at Nationals, made it to the quarterfinals again last year, and really gave eventual champ Johnny Bravo a tough test in the quarterfinals. That was the round Revolver was knocked out dramatically by Toronto Goat. Bravo beat Goat in the semis of Nationals last year. We'll see Bravo Goat in a little over an hour.
And one thing we should mention, Evan, Truck Stop, this is their 2nd tournament in 2015. They went to Columbia, took part in the TEP tournament, finished 2nd back in early April. Really had a good time down there as they...
Yeah, a lot of American teams went to Columbia. They helped sponsor some of the, and there's a turnover from deep from Markham Schaffner and a careless throw. Here's an opening for Truck Stop.
Schaffner comes up with the big D, and that's exactly what Truck Stop have been hoping for.
Cool to talk to a bunch of the players who went down to Columbia. TEP, traditionally one of the biggest tournaments in Columbia, and what they've done is, you know, use some of their federation money to help sponsor some of the American teams to come, sort of to raise the level of competition, give the local teams in Columbia some American flavor at that tournament. DC played well. Raleigh Ring of Fire played well with a small roster. Here we go, looking for bookends with Schaffner.
Schaffner waiting, jumping, timing it, and scoring. And the break for Truck Stop to pull within 1. Big sequence by Markham Schaffner out of Nashville, Tennessee, his 4th year with Truck Stop. Boy, they set that up right on the release there. Schaffner immediately taken off in a perfect backhand strike from Calvin Ong.
Schaffner does a good job, obviously shielding the sun, keeps position. White has a size advantage on Schaffner, but Markham obviously had steps and position. Attacked the disc very well. If you watched college Nationals coverage, you're familiar with the name Schaffner. His younger sister Jessie, one of the stars of Oregon Fugue, winning another title for head coach Lou Burris.
Schaffner's going to stay out there for another rotation. For that D-line unit, can they create another turnover? They are within 1. Ong, who just delivered the assist, similar fashion with the backhand. Bouncing pole picked up by Revolver.
Higgins out there, Rasmussen, Higgins, Kittredge, and Johnson, the 4 cutters.
Big line, critical stage of this game for Revolver. Waiting to get free, finally able to find a little crevice. There's Ashlyn Joy. Joy with a deep downfield toss, and it's corralled and caught. Schlockett able to bring it in.
I don't think he ever gets excited.
He doesn't. He is so stoic in his nature on the field, and Schlockett makes the grab.
I mean, that was a great catch. They were struggling to move the disc. Took Rasmussen a long time to find Joy, who shook free. I mean, the defender nearby, David Cranston, who's an excellent defender. And just another catch for Phil Schlockett. No big deal.
I think Revolver's happy to have Ashlyn Joy healthy again, or at least feeling somewhat healthy today.
Yeah,
an impact he's made like he always does.
I think Mike Payne was surprised. I'm certainly surprised at how much they've used him and how well he's played. Obviously, they go hand in hand. Ashlyn comes from a Frisbee family. His dad, Steve Joy, was an excellent player. I was chatting with someone about Ashlyn's dad the other day, and he said Ashlyn kind of has the same body movements when he runs as his dad. Ashlyn's a little bit more low-key. His father was a more fiery fellow.
A quick score for Revolver. They go up 12-10 with the pull.
That was a very important score for Revolver, obviously.
Seth Wiggins and truck stop. Marked tightly by Leahy. High pass, and it's taken away. The turnover intercepted by Eli Kearns.
Kearns has done it all. That's his second D. He's piloted the D line when it has obtained the disc.
All called. You can see Kolick and Kearns discussing it.
My guess is they're discussing what the stall count was at when the call was made.
Well, they're saying a
Coming
pick
on 6.
downstream.
Coming on 6.
6 is where they're going to pick it up.
6.
Kearns on the restart. Sends it over to Russell Wynn. Hasn't mentioned Wynn a lot. Wynn up ahead to Taylor Leahy. Leahy, excuse me, looking forehand. Dumps it way back. Most retreat after it was Wynn again. Quick rotation on the far side. Kearns trying to lay out his opponent there. Crashing through the ESPN sign goes Dahlman. Lucas Dahlman unable to corral it as it went sailing wide.
I mean, he is a torpedo, taking out whatever it's in his path.
The pressure D, the tight marks now being exhibited by Revolver. Alex Evangelidis on the mark here.
That was Revolver's first red zone turnover of the game.
Kolick gets it up ahead to Cody Johnston. That was a breakdown in communication. Johnston was not who Kolick was looking for, but fortunately he was there. See if DC can kind of get some rhythm back. Here's a deep downfield hawk leading the way and catching it in a pile of humanity and hauling it in for the score, but paying a price is Peter Pryal. Pryal's played a whale of a game, and he landed in between a couple of Revolver players, and it looks like he's holding his right side.
Well, again, Spiva, along with Kolick, might have the best deep throws on the team. See the landing.
Right shoulder took all the weight as he went down hard. And again, that Spiva connection. Spiva with the assist, setting up Pryal.
Sanchez went into him hard. Initially, he wasn't writhing in pain or anything, but then maybe after he realized he caught it, the adrenaline second worn off, all of a sudden, right there, realized it.
Still holding that right shoulder area. He will get up on his own power and slowly make his way toward the sideline. A big performance today for Peter Pryal in the spotlight of the semifinals of this U.S. Open, leaving it all on the field.
And it's just wherever he has gone, his teams have won. I mean, he grew up in Ridgefield, Connecticut. He started playing Ultimate, just sort of tossing the disc around lunchtime when he was in high school. Went to the same high school as my co-captain at Wake Forest, Dave Zarkowski, and Dave was telling me last night about how they would just toss the disc at lunch and Peter was throwing. Doesn't remember Peter being that tall. He kind of shot up. Peter was a couple years behind my buddy Dave. But I'd venture to say Peter is probably the best player Ridgefield has produced. with all due respect to my former co-captain, whose wedding I was in this past April.
Going out on a limb. 12-10. Revolver leads by 2. First one to 15. We're in pretty good shape for the Caps. So San Francisco with the 2-point lead. Rasmussen with the backhand up ahead. They cross the center stripe. Christian Johnson dumps it. Back over to Kasednar. Kasednar up ahead, hauling it in. Once again is Ashlyn Joy. Striking position for Joy and Revolver. Has a number of options. Cutting ahead, Bo Kittredge. Knocking at the doorstep. Kittredge straddling the goal line. Looking. Count on. He's forced to dump it back. Joy, who has a number of assists today, looking to add one more, and it's the connection again. Kittredge hauls it in despite the contact from Del Rico Johnson.
Wow, one referee on the far side overruled one observer on the far side. They're like referees on inbounds and out of bounds. They make the calls, and now they decide Bo is not in. David Cranston was barking that he didn't think he was in. I didn't think he was either. One observer called him in.
So Joy, this time, will zip it to a different target, and he hooks up with Johnson for the goal.
For the record, I'm not going to apologize for accidentally calling him a referee when he made the active call on the play.
He did. See Joy with the patience, looking over his options. And sometimes when you have the skill set like Revolver, you're this close to the goal, it's like taking candy from a child. He had a number of options. Kittredge, Johnson, all finding space. Rasmussen in the front. And in the end, it was Johnson with the goal. 2 goals, 2 assists, a 4-point day. For the first-year player with Revolver out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
And he played for Mike Donardis for a long time, both with UNC Darkside, last year with Ring of Fire. And Christian joining Revolver, you know, the biggest personnel move with Christian going to the O-line was Marcelo Sanchez going to the D-line. Mike Payne said he's wanted to get Marcelo, number 22, on Revolver on the D-line for a while. Says he's one of the fastest cutters that he's ever seen. Mike Payne told me he's one of the top 10 strongest cutters that he's coached. And he said he's still young, so let's use his young years on the D-line when he's still got the motor. And Marcelo's such a team guy. I'm sure he just wants to do anything to help the team.
And you look at who they added defensively with Cox and Jamie Quella, who we haven't talked a lot about here in this game, but some really solid defenders jumping in that defensive line for Revolver.
You just mentioned Kevin Cox. He got tangled up with Andrew Hagan in the middle of the field. Looks like he's all right, but he popped up gingerly. Kevin Cox is a really good player for the Polar Bears the last couple of years in the mixed division.
Truck stop down 2 from their own goal line. Tom Doy marked.
There was a call made. Far side of the field doesn't realize it.
A traveling call. Take a look at Cox, middle of the screen, number 3 in the blue jersey.
Yeah.
Oh, he collided with his own teammate, ran smack dab into the back of Andrew Hagan that time.
No travel.
Disc tap back in by Jeffrey on the mark, and here's a turnover by Truck Stop.
That is a devastating turnover right there. With Truck Stop lingering in this game, I mean, it's felt like Revolver has been dominant, and yet Truck Stop's within 2. You turn it over on the goal line and give Revolver this golden opportunity.
Jeffrey dumps it back. Jordan Marcy Marcy will turn, looking back in. Goes right back over to Jeffrey on the far side. Angelides. These guys haven't seen a lot of time on the offensive unit. Chance to really deal a blow. And a call away from the action. A pick.
Coming in one. Wait for it.
It's going to be Marcy on the
Reset.
1 count here as he resets it. Dumps it back to Jeffrey, and a pass toward the goal line is intercepted by Kolek. Good anticipation. And his toss sailed on him, and it's knocked down by Revolver, and they'll get it right back. Oh boy, Kolek with a great read.
That's such a punch in the stomach for Truck Stop. Just to turn that over, Kolek poached, timed it perfectly, got the D, and just a super careless throw, allowing it to pop up in traffic. You can't substitute on timeouts in Club Ultimate, so the D-line offense out there. Here's Kolek sneaking in there as Bayless made the cut. He gets the disc back. He had a man open deep, looked him off, and just popped that right over Wiggins' head. You see Truck Stop trying to stay positive, keep the body language up.
I want to remind you, coming up, our 4th and final game here on ESPN3, the other half of the men's semifinal, Johnny Bravo taking on GOAT. It's coming up later tonight here on ESPN3. The 2 winners tomorrow in the championship. It's been a great tournament, Westchester. Yesterday we spent all day at Voice of America Park, a beautiful facility to host the event as you take a look at the men's bracket and the remaining 4 from the expanded field of 12 that we started with.
Revolver, the only team in pool play to go through undefeated.
Yeah, they were.
Bravo knocked off by the German team.
And what was your take of some of the international teams here in this men's division? I know Great Britain was a team that a lot of people were keeping an eye on as Revolver strikes with Kevin Cox.
Big layout from Kolek in the end zone, but he came up empty. And Revolver now on the doorstep. Andrew Hagan. Not flashy, but super solid. Kolek went flying, but unable to make up enough territory. 14-11, 9 minutes away from the soft cap. That won't be a factor. But to answer your question about the international teams, I thought, obviously Germany beating Johnny Bravo was a very surprising result. But it wasn't a fluke. Germany went up 8-5 at the half of that game. Bravo was not playing its best for sure. But then Bravo played its best for much of the second half. Went up 13-12. It was an 8-4 run that Bravo went on to take the lead. And at that point, you're thinking, okay, Bravo's going to roll over. Germany held at 13-12, tied up at 13. And then Germany broke Bravo's O-line twice. Back-to-back scores to win at 15-13. Germany had previously beaten Pony, Pride of New York, the team from NYC, but Germany did not have enough left in the tank. Fell to Furious. Also got blasted by Truck Stop, 15-5. Learning experience for them, and certainly the win over Johnny Bravo is something that those guys on the Germany team will take with them for a long time. The Great Britain team was fun to watch. Justin Ford leading that squad. A lot of Clapham guys. Clapham gave San Francisco its biggest scare at Worlds in Lecco last year in the quarterfinals. 17-16, Revolver won it. And, GB had a good win against Temper. played Goat close but couldn't hang on late. A good experience for Great Britain, though. And the Colombian team was fun to watch, too.
I know they had a good time here in the States traveling. The strong relationship with Ultimate and the United States and Colombia continued this week in Ohio.
You haven't been with us all day. Certainly the most successful international team here at the 2015 U.S. Open is Australia.
The story continues. It's not done yet. Tomorrow they will fight for the championship. Ellipsis.
Everybody set. Okay.
14-11, Revolver in control late in this game, second half. First leg of the Triple Crown Tour, as you see the layout and the catch made by Truck Stop's Cody Johnston. Johnston gets it ahead to Tyler Monroe. Monroe from Seattle, Washington, George Washington product. Goes back in the dump and some contact. No contest here as Russell Wynn collided with the foul. Nikki Spaiva banged into.
You've already gotten 2 TMFs, so watch out on foul on the mark.
Counts
You're
at
the
one.
observer
Everybody
warning.
set.
Already 2 TMFs have been called on Revolver. The third one would be a yardage penalty. Next up, trying to set Tyler Monroe downfield toward the end zone for the score. Calvin Ong, the recipient. That makes it 14-12. Mentioned this is the first leg of the Triple Crown Pro Flight finale, the second leg, and then the national tournament, the excitement of nationals coming up in October.
Truck Stop has a lot of intriguing young talent. Calvin Ung, not one of those guys. He's 35. But you mentioned Tyler Monroe. He's just 20. Joe Freund, only 17 years old. He's been trying out for Truck for a bunch of years, and finally they let him on the team. They thought it'd be a great learning experience for him. Freund, again, it's a 17. You know, he's 6'4". You wonder, 6'4", 17-year-old in a high-level club, could he be the next Matt Rader? He's got a long way to go. Rader joined Seattle Sockeye at age 16. He's now, I think he turns 24 next week. Feels like he's been around forever, even though he's, 24 is not exactly ancient.
One of the veterans of this Truck Stop team, Kevin Moldenhauer. Just a funny story, you mentioned the youth of Freund. He was a whopping 2 years old when Kevin went to his first nationals tournament.
Wow. I wish I had discovered Ultimate that early in my life.
Be nice, wouldn't it? Are you seeing a different type of athlete in Ultimate over the years? And if you are, where's the trend heading?
I mean, there's no question that the game is getting more athletic. We've talked about it with players and coaches alike. At this level, you have to be a great athlete in order to compete. You can develop the throws, and the best all-around players are obviously the great athletes who also have the throws. But it's just a different type of athleticism than other sports. The change of Schaffner and Schlockett colliding. Good to see everybody all right, but just the change of direction, the sprinting back and forth. Over the course of a tournament weekend, you might run 15 miles of sprinting.
The endurance tested in these tournaments. That's why these athletes excel, why they are so impressive to watch and see them work their craft.
And that's why the top teams need depth. Later tonight we're going to see Bravo against Goat. Not sure Goat has the depth to win that game, especially on the third day of a tournament, but we'll see. It is their first game of the day. They're missing a bunch of good players, but they have a lot of good players too.
Let's see if the top line for Revolver can end this with an exclamation point. Game opportunity for the group from San Francisco to move into the championship. They have won this tournament the last 2 years. Tell Washington, D.C. knows what's at stake, working harder on the defensive end. And a pick downfield, so that'll stop the action.
Coming in one.
San Francisco finds the end zone. They're going to be in the finals tomorrow. Haven't heard a lot of Bo Kittredge in the second half. We are now, though, as he sends a perfect pass up ahead. Schlockett hauls it in, and Revolver is back in familiar territory. A hard-fought 15-12 win against Truck Stop. A game, though, that you never felt they were really threatened in. They just seemed to be in control all afternoon.
Well, the offense was almost flawless. I mean, DC only generated 2 Ds in the entire game. One from Kolick in the end zone, another from Schaffner on a Revolver miscue. Revolver turned it over only 7 times. Only 2 of them were forced. Bo Kittredge was very solid. I mean, he had a turnover himself, but 1 assist, a bunch of goals in the flow of the offense. Revolver has long been about transforming stars into role players, being part of the system. IHD, intensity, humility, discipline. Those are the battle cries of the Revolver program now in its 10th year. They've won 3 national championships. They've won 3 world championships. People feel they were the best team last year. They didn't get a chance against Bravo in the finals because Goat knocks them off. They'll get a chance against either Bravo or Goat tomorrow. Either one will be compelling.
So one half of the championship is set, the 5 seed, but one of the favorites coming in, Revolver, with a 15-12 victory over Truck Stop. Will it be Goat or Johnny Bravo trying to dethrone the gang from San Francisco? The 2015 U.S. Open Ultimate Championships are presented by Discraft Ultra Store, the official disc of USA Ultimate. Ask your retailer for Discraft Ultra Store. The Triple Crown Tour, the sport of ultimates premier competitive experience, and by USA Ultimate, the national governing body for the sport of ultimate in the United States. For more information or to find out where to play ultimate in your area, visit usaultimate.org. Mike Payne's Revolver squad out of San Francisco was a perfect 6-0 after the opening 3 days of the 2015 U.S. Open Ultimate Championships, and as a result, they have punched their ticket into the finals tomorrow. A convincing 15-12 win against a young and upstart bunch from Truck Stop out of Washington, D.C. Cassidy Rasmussen joins us. Rasmussen with another big day today. And Cassidy, first off, it had to feel pretty good to have Ashland back in the lineup on that offensive unit with you.
Yeah, it feels great to have him back. You know, it lets me get upfield a little bit more, which is, you know, where I want to be. And it really gives us a lot more looks and options, and it makes it a lot harder for D teams to prepare for anything that we're going to throw at them.
When did you realize that you'd be filling Ashland's role as a main handler, and what's that been like the last couple of days?
I found that out Thursday morning as we were warming up, that he wasn't going to be coming out. It's been an interesting experience. I did it a couple of years ago, or 2 years ago, when Robbie was not on the team either, and it was me and Ashland trading roles. So it was a little bit of slotting back into that. But I mean, it definitely let me save my legs a little bit for today and luckily tomorrow too.
You guys turned it over 7 times in this game. That's offense and defense combined. Only 2 of them were forced. Was that about as good as you guys could play offensively?
I mean, we can definitely play better than that. You know, we threw into a couple of poaches, and I had just a couple of execution errors, which were a little bit unlike us. And you know, those poaches that we threw into, and those execution errors are things that should be pump fakes, and we know we can improve on. And you know, everybody that had a mistake knows what it was and knows how to learn from that. And I'm sure they'll just come out even sharper tomorrow.
On Thursday morning, when I was looking for Revolver on the fields, I was scanning for red and couldn't find it. What do you think about the new blue jerseys?
They're pretty sweet. I like them. We've gotten a few interesting comments around, you know, around the new logo. We appreciate the criticism and the jokes around it. It's a lot of fun. I think they look pretty sharp. We're excited for them.
Cassidy, last thing, it's going to be either Bravo or Goat tomorrow. I'm sure you're eager to take on either of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, either game's going to be great. We're obviously more focused on us and what we can do to prepare for that in the next 24 hours or so. But you know, whoever it's going to be, we're going to be ready to play our game and take it to them.
All right, Cassidy, thank you. Great job today. Good luck tomorrow in the finals.
All right, thank you very much.
Cassidy Rasmussen, part of Revolver. It is time now for the Discraft Ultra Star play of the game. Good to see a healthy Simon Higgins back.
He got hurt, appeared to tweak his ankle early in the game, didn't play the rest of the first half. Returned, Christian Johnson gave him a chance to shine, and over Castine to the summit goes Simon Higgins. He's 22 years old. An incredibly bright future ahead for this kid.
Higgins, Joy, Kittredge all connecting today, powering Revolver into the finals 15-12.
I'm sure Martin Aguilera, the U23 mixed coach, was glad to see Simon all right with plays like that.
Looks healthy, ready to go. Will it be Bravo or GOAT? We're about to find out as we take a look at the championship bracket. Revolver looking for their third straight U.S. Open title. Will it be the 4C GOAT or from Denver, Johnny Bravo? Opening poll coming up within the hour, at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN 3. So for Evan Lepler, I'm Sean Kenny saying so long from Lakota West High School in Westchester, where the final score is Revolver 15, Truck Stop 12. To watch this game on replay, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN, a worldwide leader in sports. Good night. Happy 4th of July from Westchester.